everybody, this is my video update week 1, transition week. The video updates were a commitment I made on my Patreon page, and so this week I have put together some little video snippets of different things throughout the week that I had focused on artistically and otherwise, and those will follow this introduction. But they're not as artistic and process filled as I intend to normally have them, but that is because this has been a week of transition. Earlier in the week I moved out of my public studio, and that has been a large focus of my week. The packing it up, storing some of it, reorganizing, setting up workspace at home, and getting ready for a new way again. And so physically that has been a process, and emotionally that has been a process as well. I had chosen to do that public studio a year ago when I stopped doing art shows. When the art shows became too much on me physically with the lupus in my spine, I wanted to try to do a public studio to provide a replacement for being able to engage with people so that I wouldn't be feeling isolated. For having done art shows for so long and being able to talk to people every weekend, I felt like I would be missing that, and so wanted to explore having a studio that was open to the public to be able to provide that. And that's part of my internal transforming right now, is processing what I learned over this past year doing the studio. I learned many things, and I learned about myself, of course. Every lesson you learn about yourself, and about the local art community, the cliques, how people engage, how the market is, and then how I feel and am within that. And so the good and the bad, like everything. And I know that I will not be exploring that again after I recover from my surgery. I feel much more comfortable working in my home, where I have control over my creative space. That's really important to me, and it always has been. I think because I am so in tune with having a space that is conducive and inspiring and lends to the healing aspects that I receive from creating, I want to be able to have that control over my space to make it feel that way. And I didn't have that, and I think that did hamper some of my creative process. So, like I said, good and bad, different things that are learned. Now I will be going through another period of time where I look at how now am I going to readjust, recreate my artistic life, and still be able to engage with people. So I am happy to have found the Patreon platform. I really hope that I am able to get that going and have that be an engaging platform, that I have a good amount of support on it, to provide a fulfilling engagement back and forth. because I'm excited about the possibilities of that. When I first learned about it, I was intrigued and thought that that had a lot of possibilities to it. And I had been saying for months to some of my friends that, you know, the way the art world changes, our society changes, culture changes, the way we communicate, technology has really taken such a forefront in the way we all communicate with each other, of finding ways to change with that. And given the physical health problems that I have, I was excited when I saw this opportunity. Within the Patreon platform, you can engage quite well with the people who appreciate and subscribe to your art, because it's like a subscription to art. And people choose different levels, and usually you get a following of several people that are paying small amounts for their subscription, and there are reward levels that are associated with each different price range, and they start at like $1, $3, $5 a month, $10 a month. And putting together the reward levels was able to actually give me something that I know and have already felt me lacking in the winding down of the studio, because that's been happening for a couple of months, because I haven't really even been able to spend much time at the studio before I moved out. I've always been a really productive person. Even before I was doing art full time, when I had a traditional job, I was very goal oriented. Produce, produce, produce. And that's a good aspect to have if you're an artist. But if you don't have something that you are working towards all the time as an artist, and that's your way, it can be difficult. So that was a great way for me when I was doing art shows every weekend. I would be in an art show every weekend, and then every week I was getting ready for the next art show. So I was always having that thing to strive for. It started slowing down a bit in the studio, and especially when I started having a lot of pain and couldn't be there very often. And now I've sat here thinking for the last few weeks leading up to this, well, what is my goal going to be now? You know, okay, the holidays, I'm still have my online presence, but is that enough to really keep me at the level of goals and producing that I have? I think that part of me is what helps me emotionally and spiritually through illness, is keeping my mind off it, and it's healing to me, the work, the process, the art itself. So when I started setting up those reward levels in Patreon, normally there's like a lot of downloads, or you're giving access to certain things. So one of those levels was I was going to be doing a raw video update each week on the things I had worked on and the things that inspired me and processes. And then also a larger project that I'm working on right now is illustrating and writing a book on the character I created of Circus Kitty, which she's become very popular, and I'm going to be doing the Tao of Circus Kitty. So I decided to do a weekly, every Sunday morning, releasing a Circus Kitty comic strip to the patrons on my Patreon page. It's exclusive to them, and just that very act keeps content fresh and going with me, and it helps me develop the character even more for the book. So even if there was a week that I wasn't working on the book itself, I would still be creating content and developing character by doing that comic strip. So all of these different reward levels are really fulfilling to me, to be going through that process on a weekly and on a monthly basis of the rewards that I've committed to. They keep me goal driven. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope now that I moved out of the studio and I'm kind of set back up at home, I can focus now on promoting the Patreon page and getting that going, so that I can really fully engage there. I'm going to be doing some Google monthly Google video chats with people and having some interactive threads going on the newsfeed that's a patron-only newsfeed there. So I think it actually may help me engage on an even deeper level with people. So that's one of the transitions that I'm going through right now, going from studio to this new way of being that's new, not even known by a lot of people. So I have to do some educating with that. And I also found out this week that I'm going to be getting a small grant to help me upgrade the technology in regards to my computer and being able to make my illustrating much easier for me and more efficient and time efficient. So I'm excited about that. So one door closes, one door opens. That's how we like to see it, right? And I've still been working on now. I'm feeling good about time commitments now and working on larger projects that I never felt like I had the time to do. And now I'm taking the time to do them. Maybe I'm being pushed to do so just by the universe, but either way, I've been wanting to work on these bigger projects, and now I am. So I've got things set up so that I can just kind of delve in all the way. So lots of changes this week, and I'm sure that there will be processing still for a few weeks afterwards. It's been I'm not sure what word I'm looking for to describe this past year, but it's been a challenging year with a lot of lessons learned, and hopefully some better choices made in the future. Some choices made in my future that are for my higher good, with me in mind first. Things that are healing for me. And we all have to learn how to put ourselves first sometimes and stand our ground and work from the most authentic parts of us. And that's something that I had a lot of realizations with in some of those things that were learned in this last year. Was the authenticity level within the art world. That's always something that I really have felt very strongly about, and I saw so many things in so many different ways that I never realized were happening before. So I'm sure some of these things I've learned will come out in my artwork, and I'm sure that I'll be talking about them in more detailed or distinct ways later on. But that's what's been going on. So this was just a quick little talkie to let you know what was going on, and that the future video chats will probably be much more art-based than this week's has been, but there's a little bit in there. And normally these video updates are going to be exclusive to the subscribers on my Patreon page, but for the first 4 or 5 weeks maybe, I'm going to make them public, so that people can get a sense of the different things that are involved and that I am offering with my Patreon page. So a lot of those things I'm going to be releasing publicly for a little bit to get people understanding and seeing what's going on there, so that they can decide if they really want to be a part and support that. So I hope you all have a great week. We're getting ready to have a hurricane hitting the southeast, so prayers to everyone. I hope everyone stays safe, and I'll see you soon.